What's up everyone, it's the one and only back again with another video. The Apple Watch Series 11 is here. It landed last month, and while we already broke down the tech and new features, today we're zooming in and focusing on the 4 aluminum finishes that matter this year. We're talking jet black, rose gold, silver, and the all-new space gray. Each one brings a vibe, each one tells a story. And I'm here to show you how every finish looks under real-life lighting, how it pairs with old and new bands, and which one deserves to be on your wrist. So, if you're asking yourself, which Apple Watch color should I buy? You've came to the right place. And even if you're just window shopping, ultimately, you want to hunt down that perfect color to rock on your wrist. So let me help you along the way and help you make that decision. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get things started. Alright ladies and gents, before we jump into the 4 aluminum finishes for the Apple Watch Series 11, just a quick reminder. I already did a full deep dive review on the Series 11 covering pricing, design, all the new features, and everything you need to know before buying. If you haven't checked it out yet, just click the card that pops up at the top right corner of the screen and give it a watch. All good? I think that's everything. Cool. Alright, so up until the Series 9 models, there used to be this red ring around the digital crown, and that was basically the dead giveaway that you had a GPS and cellular model. So in case you didn't know, Apple sells 2 variants of their Apple Watch. You have the standard GPS only model, which only works if it's connected to your iPhone. And then there's the GPS plus cellular option, which costs a little bit more, but means you can activate a line with your cell phone provider so that your Apple Watch can work independently of the iPhone. Meaning your iPhone could die, or you could leave it in a locker or in your car while you do other things, and you'll still get all of your noties right on your wrist. So before, that red ring used to be there, and now it's completely gone. Again, this was for the Series 10 and onward, where Apple drops that visual cue, instead using more subtle or case-matched accents within the digital crown. And you know, that red little circle actually did something. Some color combinations benefited from this red ring, like red sport bands or red braided solo loops. I know this is something really small and nitpicky, but I just had to let you guys know. Alright, but now, let's talk about the 2 colors that will probably have most people scratching their heads at, wondering which one is for them. Space gray and silver. So let's actually get both of them on screen right now and compare them head to head. I've got both of them side by side right here on with no bands, so you can really see what I'm talking about. At first glance, and based off its name, you'd think space gray would be noticeably darker, but it's actually not. Apple toned it down this year, and it's surprisingly closer to silver in a lot of lighting conditions. Indoors or under softer light, the 2 almost blend together. There's very little difference between the 2, with space gray just having that faint graphite tint that gives us a bit more of a mood. Now, silver still holds that classic Apple vibe, bright, crisp, and iconic. It's what most people picture when they think aluminum Apple Watch. But side by side, you notice how space gray feels a touch warmer, almost like someone took silver and mixed in a drop of a smoky kind of gray. Honestly, I was surprised by how subtle the difference is. I expected space gray to be darker, closer to the older space black vibes we used to get like on the Series 3, the Series 4, and some of the older models. But this year, it's softer, almost refined. Silver pops a bit more under bright light, while space gray gives you that stealthier, low-key tone that still feels clean and premium. If you're into matching crazy combinations of bands, silver pairs a lot better with brighter sport bands or fine woven colors. Anything that benefits from contrast. Space gray, on the other hand, works beautifully with darker tones like midnight or some of the darker blues, keeping that cohesive everyday look. At the end of the day, you can't go wrong with either, but if you're trying to go for that understated premium look, space gray might be your sleeper pick this year. Now that we've seen how close space gray and silver really are head to head, let's have some fun and mix things up a bit now, slapping on different first-party bands on every watch. As a bandaholic, I've lined up a variety of first-party Apple Watch bands, everything from some of the classic staples down to the latest seasonal drops. We're going to see how each one looks paired with these different finishes, because trust me, the casing color completely changes the vibe of certain bands. Some combos just click, while others give off a totally different personality depending on your watch color. So, kicking us off right, let's start with jet black. Easily the boldest finish Apple's dropped in years. This one's got that high gloss mirror sheen that instantly makes it look more premium than a typical aluminum finish. In certain angles, it almost mimics polished ceramic. It's rich, smooth, and ridiculously sleek. It's the kind of color that just owns all kind of lighting. Every reflection, every ray of sunlight just pops against that glossy surface, which gives it this unapologetically luxurious feel. Now, when it comes to band pairing, this is where jet black shines, literally. Darker bands like Midnight or Navies, or even older Nike sport bands with dark perforations blend seamlessly with this casing color, creating that clean, all black everything aesthetic. But, and this is worth mentioning, that same sleek darkness can make certain bands stand out a little too much. Specifically those with silver stainless steel lugs or connectors that can look a little jarring next to the glossy black case. So a lot of past leather bands from Apple and a lot of the Hermes bands have different colored lugs, whether they're silver stainless steel or black. The shiny metallic hardware against the deep mirror finish of the jet black creates a sharp contrast that some might find stylish, but others might call tacky. It's a matter of taste, honestly. If you're into contrast and flash, you'll dig it. But if you prefer a cohesive, stealthy setup, stick with bands that have black or dark colored lugs for that perfectly seamless look. Jet black is basically Apple's way of saying, I may be aluminum, but I look high-end. It's dramatic, elegant, and really unforgiving, but that's what makes it so eye-catching. There's just something about it, the way it catches light, the way it pairs with dark bands. It's one of those colors you don't appreciate until you see it in person. Now, let's talk silver, the most adaptable color in Apple's entire lineup. It's that clean, timeless finish that always looks great, no matter what band you throw on. Under direct light, silver reflects beautifully. Crisp, bright, and unmistakably Apple. It doesn't try too hard, and that's why it works. Out of all four aluminum finishes, silver is the least likely to give you a mismatched lug issue. Because it's neutral, even bands with shiny stainless steel inserts, like older Hermes or Apple's legacy leather bands, still blend in pretty nice. Sure, I do agree aluminum and stainless steel aren't an exact match when you look closely, but the tonal balance between them feels intentional. It's clean and classic, and it works a lot of the times. And here's where silver really earns its reputation. Contrast. Dark bands pop like crazy against the bright case, giving you that sharp premium look. At the same time, lighter bands like Starlight, whites, and beiges create this smooth, uniform aesthetic that feels fresh and minimal. Basically, silver is the color for band lovers and bandaholics, the people with way too many bands. Again, we don't judge here on TheJuan&Only, because everything you own will look right at home on the wrist. Silver is that one finish that never clashes. It's simple, it's flexible, and it's probably the safest pick you'll never regret. It's the kind of color that quietly grows on you. The more bands you try on with it, the more you realize just how effortless silver makes every setup look clean and polished. Now moving on to rose gold, the warmest and most feminine tone in the Series 11 aluminum lineup. This color has that soft pink hue Apple's been perfecting for years. It's warm, classy, and definitely stands out next to the other finishes. Under natural lighting, it leans more peachy gold, but indoors, you get this gentle pink shimmer that gives it a subtle jewelry-like glow. Here's the thing though, and I'm gonna be honest, rose gold looks amazing on its own, but it's easily the hardest finish to pair bands with. I mean, let's be real, imagine a bright red band with rose gold, yuck. Because it's already got such a distinct tone, not every color complements it well. That said, it's actually really well balanced. It looks terrific with softer tones like vanillas, beiges, or even pink bands, or best yet, bands that like to mix those two colors, where the warmth of the case and the band color flow together naturally. Bright bands can clash, darker tones can overpower it, and only a few neutrals truly blend in well. For this, you'll want bands that bring out its warmth without fighting it. If you're into something bold or fashion forward, rose gold delivers on that promise. But if you're a heavy band collector who likes switching things up daily, like me, you might find this one a little limiting. It's the kind of color that looks perfect when styled intentionally, not so much when you're just throwing on some random band. That said, when it hits right, it really hits. It's clean, polished, and a little bit luxurious looking. Rose gold has that charm factor that's hard to ignore. It's not for everyone, but for those who do love it, it's usually love at first glance. And finally, let's talk about the newcomer that's already making waves, Space Gray. This one hits that sweet spot between silver and jet black. Not too dark, not too light, just perfectly balanced. It's this soft charcoal gray tone that feels modern, refined, and super wearable with just about everything. Under sunlight, it lightens up ever so slightly, revealing a smooth metallic sheen, while indoors, it deepens into a moody graphite look. It's honestly the best of both worlds. You get the sleekness of jet black without the mirror-like fingerprints and depth, and the versatility of silver without the brightness. What's cool about Space Gray is how it accentuates darker bands. It makes blacks, navies, and deep greens look and feel bolder and way more intentional. It gives that subtle contrast that looks premium but never flashy. I've been asked a few times what color that is that I'm wearing. I'm telling you, it's fresh and it's a unique addition to the Apple Watch lineup. Something that finally fills that gap between the extremes. Plus, for those rocking the larger Series 11 models that support Ultra bands, Space Gray plays surprisingly well there too. The black inserts don't match perfectly, of course, but it's close enough that it blends together nicely. Kind of like how silver still works with stainless steel lugs. It's one of those small details that keeps your setup looking clean and cohesive no matter which band you throw on. Space Gray is the definition of understated confidence. Simple, sophisticated, and versatile. It's one of those colors that looks like it's always been part of the lineup, even though it's brand new. So in the end, which Apple Watch Series 11 color should you pick? Honestly, it's whatever makes you happy. But hopefully this video gave you a little more insight if you're still on the fence. Like I said, each of these brings a certain vibe to the table. It's your choice to pick the right one. With so many bands out there, old, new, and everything in between, there's always a perfect combination waiting to happen. No matter which finish you go for, your watch should feel like you. So let me know, everyone, do you own a Series 11? If so, which color is your favorite? If you're yet to upgrade to one of the newer models or have never owned an Apple Watch at all, I really hope this video helps. I know it's a little hard choosing between Apple Watches, especially as normally people's band collections grow with time. And it's super important to get the right color so that you can feel happy, proud, and confident wearing all your past bands. But let me know what you think in the comment section below. Still a lot of content up ahead, guys. Make sure to subscribe to the channel, that way you don't miss a beat. And with that, I'm clocking out for now, but I cannot wait to catch you all in my next video.